self-talk may be holding you back from achieving your dreams. And it also can be the catalyst and the reason that your dreams come true if you leverage it right. Hi, everyone. I'm Dana Weaver, and I'm the host of Next Level Leadership. I'm a business and leadership coach, and I have coached hundreds of people over the years to help them level up in their leadership and become the top of their game in what it is that they're doing. I'm working on launching a space for women entrepreneurs and business owners where they can experience community, because that is so important, learning and success together. I believe that women can lift other people up. There is no room in this world anymore for women to let each other down or be petty or talk behind their back or all of the things. Ladies, in order for us to grow, we have to hold each other up. Today, we're going to talk about mindset. And like I said earlier, mindset can be the reason that we hold ourselves back. And it can also be the reason that we achieve our wildest dreams. When I was a little girl, I was told many times by the adults around me that I needed to respect everyone around me, and I need to hold them at a higher regard than I held myself. And the reason I think that I was told that was because I needed to give respect to those around me. And my parents wanted me to respect others. But they also wanted me to look at other people with higher regard because I could learn from them. But the thing that happened was not what they were expecting. What I heard and what I kept going forward in my mind, or kept the recording that kept going over in my mind, was everybody around me was better than me, and I would never get to the place where I could be held in that level of regard from other people. I didn't have the confidence to show up in certain things. I would try really hard and I would succeed at some things. And then I would get to the point where I was successful, and then I would back off because I felt like, okay, I'm never going to be able to achieve that really great status. So maybe I should try something else and see if I could do it there. Well, I didn't let myself go. I didn't let myself keep going because the thought process in my mind was, I'm never going to be good enough to reach that top level. Now, that wasn't my parents' fault. That was just the narrative that was going on in my mind. And then society kind of reinforces that depending on where you are. This is what has been a big struggle for me in being an entrepreneur or being a business owner. I started my business and in a space where I had worked most of my adult life, well, really all of my adult life, and that is in senior living and senior care. I know that industry like the back of my hand, and I have a great love for it. However, in the job that I had been in for 20 years, I was told a few years back that my services were no longer needed there. And there was a lot of political things that were going on at the time, which is every business has. However, I took that moment to feel like, or to tell myself, well, you just weren't good enough. You weren't going to achieve that big goal. But then within, a few days, a few days after hearing that, I started to think to myself, well, that's not true. I've achieved so much. If I look back over my career, I've done all of these great things, but I wasn't looking at those great things. I was only looking at the things that I didn't do right. And so I needed to start changing my mindset around that. And I applied for a couple of jobs after that and was in interviews. And I thought, why am I trying to convince these other people that I am good enough to be in this position? Because they don't really care about me. They only care about filling the position. And it's nothing against the people that were doing the interviewing or anything like that. It's just kind of the nature of work. You have to convince people to hire you so that you can do a good job. And not so you can do a good job, but you have to convince people to hire you. And I just didn't want to be in that space. I didn't want to go back into that world. I decided I was going to start my own business. And so that's exactly what I did. And so I decided, I know that I'm going to have these moments where I'm going to feel like people don't want me to succeed, or that they are holding me back or whatever. And I'm just going to try to push through. I'm going to use pure grit and try to push through. And I did. And I got out there and I got online and I got visible. And in the back of my mind, sometimes I was like, the people that are watching this are thinking, she didn't do that very well. She didn't say that very well. You know, our mind is full of things that will hold us back. But what I've learned over time was that I can take those things that I'm telling myself and I can turn them into something even better. So now when I have those thoughts in my mind, I think, I'm going to show them what I'm made of, or I'm going to show the world what I'm made of. I can do all of these things because I am putting myself out there to do it. Because a lot of people who may judge you are not the ones putting their foot forward. They are not the ones stepping up to put themselves out there online or grow businesses. All of our naysayers, and there aren't as many as we think they are. Honestly, there may be a few, but not as many as we think they are. They're the ones that are comfortable in the positions that they're in. They're comfortable in the lifestyle, the world that they've set for themselves, and they don't see themselves growing any bigger. And so if they are a naysayer, or if they do say bad things about you, it's because they're not willing to take the step to go higher, to do something more, to do the things that you're doing. So first of all, know that is really, really important. And so I just kept changing the script on myself. If I thought that whatever I said wasn't good enough, I would either go back and I would say it again. Can't see my fingers. I'll go back or say it again, or I would just reframe it and tell myself, I am worthy of being here. I am worthy of being here in this moment because I have something to share with the world and I can help people overcome things that they don't think that they can overcome. And that is why I'm in my business. So I created a framework that I think will help other women to overcome some of these mindset blocks based upon what I was able to do for myself. And the first thing that you've got to do in mindset work is to identify that there are negative thoughts in your head and they're holding you back. So when I would think other people were watching my videos or watching what I was posting online thinking she's never going to make it, I needed to identify that, yes, that was going on in my head. And then ask myself, is that really happening? Likely it wasn't. That's just what was going on in the back of my head. And is it true? Absolutely not. I have just as much right as you do and anyone else in this world who wants to get on stage and talk about their life and talk about how they can help other people as anyone else. We can all do this. And the other thing I asked myself is this going to get me where I want to go? If I listen to those little voices in the back of my head, well, I don't have voices. I don't have the voices, but I do have the negative self-talk. I think most people do. And if I listen to those negative self-talk, or that negative self-talk, is that going to get me where I want to go? Absolutely not, because it's going to hold me back from showing up like this. It's going to hold me back from helping other people. It's going to hold me back from posting online. It's going to hold me back from speaking on stages. It's going to hold me back from giving the gifts that I have to other people who could really use them. So the negative self-talk that we have, it only serves to hold us back unless we know how to reframe it. So number one, I said, was identify it. And I went right on into number two. And this is my framework that I use to overcome imposter syndrome, because the negative self-talk and the mindset work aligns really closely with imposter syndrome, or feeling like you're a fraud. And you're not. And I'm not. And most people are not frauds unless they actually set out to be a fraud. But that's a whole different video for a whole different day. So I've asked myself, is it real? Is it true? And is it going to get me where I want to go? And then what I do is I write it down. I write those things down on paper so that I can see them. And what it does for me is it shows me the absurdity of what I'm thinking. Like, who is actually out there spending time worrying about what I'm doing online? Nobody that, well, if they are and they're spending time watching my stuff and thinking negative thoughts, and if you're watching, it's time to get a life. And you could do really amazing things if you would channel that energy to something else. But there's not very many people out there doing that. There are the trolls. And again, another video for another day. However, most people aren't doing that. They're watching you. They're watching me to see what I can offer them. And they are wanting to be inspired, and they're wanting to learn something that will help their life be better, whatever that is. And so that's why most people are watching. That's probably why you're watching today. So you want to write that down so you could see how silly it is, the words that you're saying in your mind. And then after you write it down, change the narrative. What is real? Ask yourself, what is real in all of this? Well, what's real is you're building a business. What's real is you have a passion for something and you want to help people, because that's why you're in this business. That's why you're growing your business. Whatever it is that you're doing somehow benefits another person. So you're in it for that. That's real. And what's true is where you come at it from. So what is the desire in your heart for the person that receives your services or the people that receives your products? You want them to be delighted with the products or the services that they're receiving from you. You want them to feel something, to feel joy, to feel happiness, to feel successful. There's so many adjectives that you can use there. So many words that you can use there on what you want them to feel. And hint, the way people feel about you when they interact with you, that's your brand. That's your personal brand. And that's very cool. Again, another video for another day. But how people experience you and how they feel when they're around you and receive your services and products are really important. When you write that down and you have it in front of you, you tend to want to do better. It helps you to grow. And then finally, reframe it to, where is it that I want to go? I want to serve X amount of people. I want to sell X amount of products. I want to land a whole bunch of stages. I want to be a keynote speaker every week of the year. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can totally do. Write it down and look at it every single day, and you will achieve it. Because when you look at that every day, it helps you to see the world in a different perspective. The other thing that I do is I take baby steps forward. You know, I have had many different setbacks in my life. One of them, like I said, was losing my job. But another one was I have had infertility my entire life. I've never been able to have children. And that is something that can really hold you back and knock you down. I'm not good enough again. My body is not good enough to make a child, to have a child. Well, I was able to make the child. I wasn't able to carry it to full term, basically. And so those were hard times when I was going through that. And I was at that age where I really wanted to have a baby. And there was lots of things going on around me that just kept reminding me, you're not going to be a mom. You're not a good mom, blah, blah, blah. And all the little self-talk was coming in my head. But what I did was I decided, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. I'm not sure what the world has to offer for me in terms of baby and what that looks like for me to become a mom, what that journey looks like. But I am just going to take baby steps forward and see how I can achieve that. And so I chose to take little baby steps. And here's how I did that. I decided every day I was going to write down 3 things that I was grateful for, 3 things that happened during the day that was good. Here's what happened when I started to do that. When I would write those down at the end of every day, or sometimes the beginning of every day, if I didn't get it done the day before, what I would learn about the things I was grateful for was that really good things were happening in my life. And yes, there was something that wasn't so great happening, but I didn't need to focus on that because there were too many good things that were happening that I could focus on. So I wrote down what I was grateful for. Another thing I did was I wrote down my biggest wins over the last quarter. And so I would look back over the previous 3 months and I would write down, I was able to do X, Y, and Z. There are so many different things that I was able to do. And so I was able to, so then I looked at them and it helped me to realize my achievements and how far I had come and the success that I was able to do. This is great when you're in business because when you write down your successes and when you celebrate your small wins, you start to realize that everything you're doing is building on top of each other. And you start to realize the success that you're getting. Ultimately, you want clients. Ultimately, you want people to purchase your products. And the more, the merrier, the more, the greater. And if you hit your level of people that you can serve, it's a great problem to have, and start to reframe that so that you can serve more and change the way you do business so that you can serve more people. But looking back over that and realizing I got this client and this client and this client, and I'm just continuing to rise. That is something that you can be proud of and you can and should celebrate. So again, write down your biggest wins over the last quarter. Another one, I'm telling you to take baby steps. So go for a walk. Go out and go for a walk. When I go for a walk, when I'm dealing with infertility or when I'm dealing with the negative thoughts in my mind about growing my business, when I walk, there's something that happens in my brain. There's actual science behind what is happening in your brain when you go for a walk in nature and experience nature. But in practicality, when I get out there and I go for those walks or hikes or whatever it is that I do in nature, I start to look at things differently. I start to have positive self-talk and think, oh, I can achieve this and this and this. And I just need to figure out what my plan is to get there. So going for a walk is one of the best things you can do when you have a mindset that sets you back. It's so important to consider. So next time you have that, if there's one thing that you take from this video, go for a walk and see how your mind changes. And when you're done with your walk, write down the differences in your mindset from before you went on the walk and after you went on the walk. You will find that going on those walks make a huge difference. And it's great to do during the day. If you work from home or you have an office or whatever, and you find yourself in a mental mindset block that's holding you back, go for a walk around the block or go for a walk around the building or wherever it is you are. Take a little walk and see how that changes your perspective. This is great in corporate America too. When things are very stressful, go for a walk. Another thing I do is I create a list of things that I do each and every day that will help me move forward. So I focus on the small things in my business that I don't really want to do. If you've watched my videos before, you've learned that I am a person that loves ideas, and I have what I call shiny object syndrome. And I just want to come up with all the ideas, and I want to collect all of the ideas that are out there and implement them because I think that that's going to take my business forward. And it's a problem I have. And it's not a bad problem, but I don't need to implement all of my ideas. What I need to do is I need to write them down in a parking lot, and then I can use them when it makes sense. So what I do in that list is I focus on the little things that's going to move my business forward, or the boring things that's going to move my business forward. I focus on my leads. How am I getting leads into my email list? How am I connecting with people so that they know a little bit more about me and how I may be able to help them? Or you never know, sometimes you meet people that can really help you go to the next level. Also, I focus on what will make me money. So this shiny object syndrome that I have, I could come up with all of these different ideas, but when I'm working on them or implementing them or trying to build this thing, I'm not focusing on bringing people into my business. And that's what I need to be able to grow. So I focus on the items for a certain amount of time each day that will grow my business, that will help me to find new people to serve so that I can help them achieve their dreams and goals. And also, you can focus on creating a system. Create a system or a framework or a blueprint or whatever it is. The things that you've done in your life to overcome certain things can be a framework and something you can teach other people. I'm teaching you right now the framework that I have around overcoming mindset. That's something that I've come up with on my own from listening to other people. So when I do that and I focus on those, I call them boring things. When I focus on those boring things, that's actually what's moving my business forward. All of the other cool ideas that I have, they will move my business forward at some point, but I can't bring them all into my business at once because that's what's going to stop me in my tracks. And then I'll start to think, oh, I'm not good enough and I can't do this. And all of the things that, we say in our minds that aren't true that we were just talking about. Here's some other things that I do that help me with my mindset. So when I'm creating something new or I'm in the middle of a launch to get people into my coaching program or whatever it is that I'm doing, I write inspirational sayings and I put them around my house. I have a whole list of them that I have on my bathroom mirror that I look at every single day. And the top thing is always helpful for me. And it says, "You are enough." I am enough. I am enough, but so are you. You are enough, and you can do the thing that you want to do. So have those little sayings around your house that help you. One of my favorite sayings that I've got right now is something that I wrote on our refrigerator dry erase board. And I got it from a gentleman named Chase Hughes, who is an expert in, I think it's body language and communication. And he's got videos all over the internet. And I can't remember how I came across him, but I was listening to one of his podcasts about discipline, because discipline is my word for the year. And I wanted to learn more about how I can have more discipline in my life and really make it work for me. And so his definition of discipline, or what he tells himself every day, is do something today that I will be, or my future self will be thankful for in the future. What an easy thought of discipline. When I heard that, I was like, that is fantastic. That's something that I want to keep in front of me. So I wrote it on my dry erase board. And so not only do I get to use that as an inspiration every day, but so does the rest of my family. So putting those things around your house actually provides an opportunity for you to reset your brain and others around you. Another thing that I do is I love to listen to podcasts, like I said, and YouTube channels of people who are achieving things that I'm not, or achieving things that I want to achieve. And so I listen to them and I listen to how they got to where they are, and I listen to their stories. I love people's stories. I learn so much from other people. There is a wealth of knowledge on the internet right now, and you can have many master classes in just about every online arena to learn about something. And while it can be very overwhelming to get all of that in, only a few things stick. So there are certain things that do stick for me, like that discipline quote, and how to sell, and how to grow your audience, and how to become more findable online. Those things start to stick, and you start to bring all of them together so that you can be successful. I also love to surround myself with people who call BS on my small thinking, or if I allow my thinking to hold me back. And they hold a mirror to what I'm accomplishing. And they're saying, wow, I don't know why you think that, because this is happening and this is happening, and you did this and this, and you were on these stages. Why are you even thinking that if I happen to say it out loud? And so holding myself, or surrounding myself with people who don't let me have negative thoughts, is so helpful. I have heard, well, you have probably heard because it's all over the internet, you are an accumulation of the 5 people that you surround yourself with, the 5 closest people that you surround yourself with. But something I heard was, and I wish I could remember where I heard this, but someone on a YouTube video somewhere basically said that that saying isn't exactly true. What it is the 5 people that you listen to, that have your ear, that you hold to a high level of respect. And so if you're listening to all those things on YouTube and podcast or whatever that inspires you to be better, those are the 5 people that are helping you succeed. And then finally, rest. Rest is so important. When you're building a business, you get overwhelmed. It's the nature of things. We don't have to be in a hustle culture all the time. We don't have to achieve. Even God rested on the final day. Take time to rest. I just remember that. After he was done building the world, he rested. He gave himself a day of rest. You have to give yourself a day of rest or a moment of rest, wherever you can find it. But taking that time for yourself to put back into yourself and fill your cup is so important, because you cannot serve other people if your cup is not filled. Take time to rest and give yourself nourishment to keep you moving forward. So those are the things that I do to help me with mindset. Just to kind of go back over it, I identify what the negative thoughts are in my head that are holding me back, and I call it out. I write it down. And then I'm asking myself, is what I'm thinking real? Is it true? And is it going to get me where I want to go? Write those things down. I take baby steps. I put one foot in front of the other. And some days it's hard to put that foot in front of the other. Can't see me. It's too low. Sometimes it's hard to put your foot in front of the other, but keep doing it. Even if it's the smallest step or your toe just goes beyond your other toe, each step will move you forward. It may be slower than someone else, but when they start to slow down, you're probably going to be running. Take those baby steps so that you can start to increase your stride. And then surround yourself with inspiration, whatever that is for you. Whatever inspires you to do better, surround yourself with that. Listen to podcasts, listen to inspiring people, do meditation, whatever it is that keeps you going forward, surround yourself with that. Give yourself rest. Rest. When you're overwhelmed, if you don't take time to rest, it's going to be really difficult to go forward. I've seen so many women hit their wall because they're not resting. And then it sets them back. It sets them back so far. So take time to rest. I'm curious, what are some of the things that you do to keep moving forward? How do you overcome your mindset that holds you back? How do you reframe your mindset so that it helps you to achieve your dreams instead of holding you back from your dreams? Let me know in the comments. I would really like to know. And while you're there, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and like this video. The more subscribers that I have, the more people are going to be able to see this great information. And it's going to be a fantastic year for all of us. As long as you keep doing your baby steps forward and keep trying new things and see what works and what doesn't, and just keep moving forward, you're going to be successful. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of stamina. It's a marathon. It's not a race, but you are going to achieve it. I know you will. Thank you so much for watching me on Next Level Leadership. And until next time, have a fantastic day.